Matchday 2 of Euro 2024 has finally wrapped up, and there were some great games with some shocking results. So now, I think it's only right that I make my predictions for Matchday 3. And trust me, you're gonna want to stay until the end, because there's gonna be upsets in my predictions. Why? Because I love being bold. So let's get straight into it. Let's start off with the first match of Matchday 3, Switzerland versus Germany. Finally, we're seeing the best two teams in Group A facing off against each other. This is gonna be a good one to watch. Talking about Switzerland first, they've been playing fairly well at the Euro. As I mentioned in the previous video, Switzerland defeated Hungary 3-1 in the opening game in what was a pretty standard win for them. However, on Matchday 2, they slightly slipped up. Against Scotland, who got battered 5-1 on Matchday 1 to the host Germany, they went down 1-0 to them early due to an unlucky deflection by center back Schär. This set Switzerland back for a little bit, but eventually that goal was cancelled out due to the excellent and consistent Xherdan Shaqiri. I swear, every 2 years, this guy all of a sudden disappears off the face of the earth, but when it comes time to play for Switzerland at a tournament, he always turns up. Anyways, he pounced on a Scotland mistake in the back and perfectly shot at top bins to bring the Swiss back level. With this goal as well, Shaqiri becomes the first player ever to score in the recent 3 Euros and 3 World Cups. This man will definitely go down as a streets won't forget player. Anyways, with this, Switzerland currently sits in second place in their group with a total of 4 points, which should already do the job and get them through to the round 16, unless something crazy happens on Matchday 3. But the Swiss aren't going to leave this game up for other teams to decide. I know they're going to come into this game against Germany and try to win it. But before I say my prediction for this match though, let's talk about Germany first, who in my opinion are probably either the best or second best team at the Euro so far. They absolutely ran through Scotland in the opening game of the tournament 5-1, which was the most impressive showing by any national team, and although they didn't run through Hungary, they still showed a pretty impressive display, with Musiala scoring Germany's first of the match, becoming the first player with more than 1 goal at the tournament, and then Gundogan making a good run in the box and getting on the end of a cross to seal the win 2-0 against the Hungarians. Overall though, Germany have been very good, and the table shows that, with them having a total of 6 points and a 6 goal difference as of right now. So it'll definitely be hard for anybody to defeat them, especially with Germany being the host country too. So now, who do I think is going to win between Switzerland and Germany? Well, I'm going to go for neither, and I think this match will end up as a 2-2 draw. It's not that I think Germany is going to play bad though, but it's because they're already guaranteed to make it out of this group. So I think they'll probably rest a couple of key players in the match for the round 16, and with these changes, they're not going to be as sharp and world class, and they'll probably get a draw. Simple as that. Now next up in Group A, we got Scotland versus Hungary, and this match is going to be very interesting. That's because, as I mentioned earlier, Scotland have a point on the board, with them drawing to Switzerland 1-1, while Hungary don't have a single point so far since they lost both games, and they're also suffering from a -4 goal difference. But if Hungary get a win here, there's a chance that they can make the round 16 as one of the best third place teams. But sadly for Hungary, who I did think were going to be one of the underdogs of the tournament, it just hasn't worked out so far. To give them credit though, they actually looked a lot better against Germany, and if it weren't for a Manuel Neuer masterclass and some off the line clearances, Hungary could have made that game a lot closer. But with the momentum on Scotland's side, I can see them taking all 3 points here. So with that, I'm going to say that Scotland finds a way and beats Hungary 2-1, securing themselves a 3rd place finish with 4 points, making them one of the best teams to make it to the round 16, despite having a horrendous goal difference of -3. But 4 points will definitely do the job. I would love to be proven wrong for this prediction though. I love my boy Soboslai, but I also love Robbo, so I couldn't let my bias affect this prediction. Let's now move on to Group B, where we're going to start with the Albania versus Spain match, and this game is going to be a fascinating watch. Let me explain why. Starting off with Albania, they had a pretty difficult task of playing Italy, the defending Euro champions, in the first game, and looking at it holistically, they had a pretty decent game. They scored the quickest goal in European Championship history, which was like in 23 seconds, to go 1-0 up. But thanks to a great header by Bastoni, and then a great strike from outside the box from Barella, Albania lost 2-1 and were just outclassed at the end of the day. But Albania did very well to bounce back in their next game against Croatia, a side that took a heavy defeat on Matchday 1, losing to Spain 3-0. So you know the Croatians were coming into this game with vengeance. But Albania did well to stop that. In fact, Kazim Laci took Albania to dreamland in the 11th minute after scoring a great header from Albania's second shot on target all tournament. Then Albania did well with the defending almost the entire match. But eventually, the birthday boy on Croatia's team, Kramaric, found himself in a great position and got the ball into the back of the net. Albania then capitulated defensively and conceded an own goal around 2 minutes later to give Croatia the lead. But then Albania went on to show on some great mentality, and they locked the hell in. And eventually, the man who scored the own goal, Giazula, scored the late equalizer in the 90+5th minute to give Albania a crucial point. I really wonder who could have predicted Croatia to slip up once again and not secure 3 points. Oh wait, I did. Roll the tape! Well, I'm gonna continue my Croatia hatred, as you guys are referring it to as, and I'm gonna say this ends in a 1-1 draw. Now obviously, Albania probably need much more than 1 point to make it to the next round, regardless of whether they finish 3rd place or not. And in the 3rd match, like I said, they have the tough task of playing Spain, who are currently on top of the group, but it can be doable to get a result. Let me land. You see, Spain have pretty much been flawless at this tournament so far. far. And other than Germany, they're probably the best team at the Euros for me. As I mentioned briefly, they destroyed Croatia 3-0 in the opening match. But then against the defending champions of the Euros, Italy, Spain beat them 1-0 through an own goal and secured the maximum amount of points as of right now. But don't let that own goal fool you. Spain were extremely dominant in this game. In fact, I tweeted about this, saying I thought Spain looked like the vintage side that won the 2 Euros and 1 World Cup. They were showing some really good football, like some great skill moves from like Lamine Yamal or Nico Williams, great passing ability, creating good goal scoring opportunities, etc. One of their biggest fixes though is they do have to be more clinical, but maybe they were just having an off day in that department. Now, regardless of Spain playing very well, Albania still has a chance. Why? Well, one, Rodri is suspended for the next game due to yellow card accumulation, and he's a huge player for the Spanish side. And two, just like Germany, Spain are already through to the knockout rounds, and it'll take a miracle from Italy to overcome that goal difference if they wish to overtake the Spanish. So I definitely think Spain will rest some key players for Matchday 3 and save them for the knockout rounds. And I think Albania is going to take this chance. But don't get too excited, Albanians. I didn't say y'all were going to win, because I actually think they'll draw 1-1 on Matchday 3. But with this, Albania does have a chance to make it through as one of the best third place teams. Or do they? And that brings me to my next game in Group B, where we got Croatia versus Italy. This will be a very fierce game, because both teams are definitely going to want to win this match. Now, Italy has to win this game if they don't want to be placed down at third place, and Croatia has to win this game if they want any hope of staying alive at this tournament. So best believe my eyes are going to be peeled on this match. Y'all probably already know which team I'm going to predict to win this game. I've said this already before the tournament even started. I just don't think Croatia is like that anymore. They're just not that good unlike the years prior. In fact, I'll prove it. Roll the tape. I'm going to start off with a major upset. I'm putting Croatia in dead last. See, and with the agenda I already have, plus with the Italians playing very good football recently, I've got to back Italy. So I got Italy definitely winning this match 3-1, and Croatia will be knocked out of the Euros. But also, this does mean that Albania has a chance to make the round 16 as one of the best third place teams. But with them only having 2 points according to my predictions, I'm not really sure if that's going to be enough. Only time will tell though. Skipping over to Group D, since those games are happening first, let's start with France versus Poland. And I think this game is going to be a snooze fest. Here's why. First and foremost, France is not playing like their usual dominant selves. In fact, in the game against Austria, the only reason they won was because of an own goal in the first half. Then against the Netherlands in the second game, they had a 0-0 draw with them. Now yes, they did have some good opportunities to score, like Rabiot and Griezmann's mix-up that should have given them the lead as one of the many examples. But regardless, the game ended in a 0-0 draw. On top of that, France's golden child, captain, best player and leader, Kylian Mbappe, broke his nose against Austria, and he has to play the rest of the tournament masked up. So obviously, Mbappe is not at 100%. Plus, he didn't play a single minute against the Netherlands and was rested, which means that he wasn't good to go for that game, further proving that he's not at 100% obviously. And I'm not gonna lie, when it comes to France, their performances so far at the Euros has not impressed me whatsoever. And honestly, I did not expect them to be so weak offensively. Now obviously, my standards for France are very high, so me saying they're weak is only in terms of them, not with other national teams. Just felt like I had to make myself clear, because if I didn't, I feel like the comment section would come at my neck. Anyways, let's now talk about Poland, who actually became the first national team at the Euros to be eliminated from the competition. That sucks for Poland, because honestly, they were playing pretty good football, and they did play well against the Netherlands despite losing 2-1. And against Austria, they had a decent performance, even scoring a goal against them through Piatek in the 30th minute. But Austria, as I initially said in my prediction video, is just too good right now. And they scored in the 9th minute to take the lead, then Baumgartner scored in the 66th minute to retake the lead, and then Arnautovic finished the game off through a penalty to lead his side to a 3-1 victory. I'm very impressed by the Austrians. But this is about Poland. And seeing them go out early sucks for them, because they barely got to use their star man Lewandowski, who entered the tournament with an injury. And this was also potentially the last time that Szczesny was going to suit up for his country, with rumors flying around that he's set to retire internationally after the Euros. So with all of that being said, who do I got winning between France and Poland? Well, it's kind of obvious. I know France hasn't been that good, but they're not losing to Poland, bro, be serious. And they're going to beat Poland just like they did back at the 2022 World Cup and win 3-1 against them. You heard it here first. Let's now move on to the next game in this group, Netherlands versus Austria. And this game is going to be way more interesting than the other match. And here's why. Both Netherlands and Austria are fighting to get the best spot possible in their group, with the Dutch having the chance to finish first in the group actually, while Austria are trying to get second and get a favorable matchup in the round 16. So you can definitely expect this game to be back and forth. Plus, the Netherlands were very close to defeating France, and that was thanks to a Xavi Simons strike that almost gave the Dutch the lead. But the goal was chalked off by VAR controversially due to Dumfries being in an offside position. That sucks, because if the Dutch secured all 3 points, they might have already guaranteed top spot in the group. Now a little bit more on Austria. They've definitely been the best team offensively in this group, with them scoring 3 goals, which is more than the other teams. So best believe Austria are going to attack the hell out of the Dutch. And that Van Dijk versus Arnautovic matchup is going to be one for the ages. I can feel it. Now, who's going to win this match? Well, I'm actually going to go for a slight upset here, since after all, in my original prediction video, I did say that Austria was going to finish second in the group, while the the Dutch would finish third. So I'm just gonna stick with my original prediction and say that Austria will beat the Netherlands somehow 2-1. Genuinely though, I wouldn't be surprised if the Dutch come out with a victory, because they're definitely capable of doing that. Now before we go on with the rest of my predictions, please remember to subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it and it means a lot, so thank you. And also, if you guys can, follow my Twitter and my Instagram, both on Debuto, if you just want to hear my thoughts on football games, transfers, and overall, just to get to know me more. So if you want to, feel free to hit me up with that follow. Thank you. Moving on to Group C, we got Denmark versus Serbia. And this one's an interesting matchup. And honestly, this entire group is, because it's pretty wide open to see who's going to make it through. Now, Denmark have been pretty impressive offensively, but not so much defensively. Against Slovenia, a side they should be beating, and a side they have beaten many times in the past, they ended up drawing 1-1. And although Christian Eriksen had a beautiful moment and scored a great goal, the defense got caught sleeping in the second half and allowed Slovenia to score to equalize the match. Then against England, it went in the opposite order. The defense got caught sleeping against the English, and Kyle Walker took advantage of that and sent in a good ball to Harry Kane, who put his country up 1-0. But then Højlund, the Sporting Lisbon midfielder, scores an absolute golazo from way downtown to level up the match, and it stayed this way until the end. So with Denmark being okay overall, they're now second place with a good chance of making it through, as long as they beat or at the very least draw Serbia. Now Serbia are a very intriguing team to look at this Euros. That's because in the first game, they were beating 1-0 due to an excellent Jude Bellingham header, but in the second half of that game, Serbia were honestly the better side. And then against Slovenia, Serbia were most definitely the better team and had some great opportunities to score, but they just couldn't get the ball into the back of the net. Then somehow, Serbia got caught sleeping once all game, and then one time is when Slovenia scored to potentially get them their first ever win in Euros history. But luckily for Serbia, Luka Jovic came up clutch for them and scored off a corner on the very last attack to savor a point for his side and keep them alive at this tournament. Luka Jovic saw his girl looking pretty on the sidelines before the quarter, and he knew he had to score the goal. Respect. Now, regarding my prediction for this game, I'm sorry Serbia, but I'm gonna have to go against y'all again. It's just that Serbia never comes through at a major international tournament, and in their previous two World Cup campaigns, this was true, and I think it's gonna be true now. I mean, I know they clutched up against Slovenia, but they should have just been winning that game in general. While the Danish, although they are getting draws, they are playing decent football and they're still undefeated, and I think that's gonna continue, because I got Denmark beating Serbia 3-2 in a very thrilling match. This one will be a good watch. Now for the following match, we got England versus Slovenia, and starting off with England, the fans have been very disappointed with their national team so far. And can you blame them? Gareth Southgate is their coach. This guy might genuinely be worse than Greg Berhalter, bro. I'm not even trolling. Gareth Southgate is setting up his team all wrong, and it's showing with their poor overall performances in their first two games. Not only that, this guy Southgate is yapping about not knowing how to replace Calvin Phillips yet. Bro, this isn't Pep Guardiola crying about Aguero leaving. This is Calvin Phillips.
We don't have a natural replacement for a Calvin Phillips.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Like, bro, you don't really need him. Your team is talented regardless. Also, I personally believe that you can use Trent in the midfield, but you just need to use him like Kroos is being used for Germany, not as a deep-lying playmaker, especially with Harry Kane up top. He's not making that many runs every game for Trent to send the ball into. It just makes no sense, bruh. But honestly, England are pretty lucky that they had to play Slovenia for their last match in the group, because respectfully to Slovenia, they are probably the weakest team on paper in the group. And with them failing to secure the win in their match versus Serbia, their chances of making the knockout rounds have plummeted severely. And honestly, I think England isn't going to play world-class football all of a sudden in the third match, but they'll lock in enough to get the W. So with that being said, I got England beating Slovenia 2-1 this game for them to top the group. And then according to my predictions, Slovenia would then finish third with 2 points and a -1 goal difference. So they actually still do have a chance of making it through. But with only 2 points, it is kind of unlikely. Let's now move on to Group B, where we're going to start with Slovakia versus Romania. And not gonna lie, this match and Group B as a whole is probably going to be the most chaotic and entertaining group on Matchday 3. The reason for this is because every single team right now is on 3 points. So everybody has a chance of going through and everybody has a chance of going home. This is peak football heritage. Now back to the Slovakia versus Romania game specifically, there's definitely a clear favorite in my eyes. Although Slovakia beat Belgium 1-0 in their opening match, causing one of the biggest upsets in Euro history, they did look slightly weaker in their match against Ukraine. Yes, I know, Slovakia were good in the first half and even got the lead in the 17th minute. But in the second half, Slovakia probably had their weakest performance at the Euro so far, and they gave Ukraine the lifeline they needed to save their campaign. And with Slovakia's lack of focus defensively, they conceded to Shaporenko in the 54th minute and then allowed one long ball to break their defense entirely in the 80th minute, with Yaremchuk taking it down brilliantly and scoring to give his country the 2-1 win. If Slovakia just locked in the second half, I think they probably would have secured a spot in the round 16. But now it's looking iffy, while Romania on the other hand just look way better. Not only did they absolutely slap up Ukraine in their first match 3-0, which by the way, this is the same Ukrainian side that Slovakia just lost to, but they also had a pretty good game against Belgium. Yes, I know, they lost 2-0, with Tielemans scoring in like 72 seconds, and then Kevin De Bruyne finishing the game off in the second half. But besides that, Romania still had some great chances in the second half to score if they were just a little more clinical. And honestly, they just showed me a lot more promising signs than Slovakia did. And yes, I know, Slovakia beat Belgium when Romania couldn't, but if we played 10 more Slovakia versus Belgium games, I'm so sure that Slovakia wouldn't be able to win a single one. While if we played 10 more Romania versus Belgium games, I'm pretty sure Romania could get 1 to 2 wins there. Basically, what I'm trying to say is I think Romania are a stronger team than Slovakia. So with that being said, with who I got winning this game, I'm going to go for a narrow 1-0 win for Romania. I think they'll dominate the game and get the best chances, but with their lack of clinicalness in the last match, I think they're only going to be able to bag 1 goal. Moving on to the next game in this group, we got Ukraine versus Belgium, and this is going to be a very good match, considering that Ukraine has the lowest goal difference out of anybody in this group, so they're the likeliest to go out and the most hungry to prove a point. While Belgium, on the other hand, finally show why they're ranked number 3 in the world, with them dominating Romania and having a lot of good chances, as I mentioned earlier. But free my boy Lukaku, man, he's getting way too unlucky right now. He had 2 goals chalked off by VAR against Slovakia, and then got his goal chalked off against Romania. And bruh, this is like 2 centimeters offside. Maybe we should implement Wenger's offside rule, because I feel like goals like these should be counted, but maybe that's just me. But overall, man, Belgium just looked good, and that Slovakia defeat might just be a fluke. And although I said in my previous prediction video that I had Romania winning, I actually posted a TikTok talking about how I kind of believe Belgium had a chance of winning the Euros. I know that's far-fetched, but my point is Belgium are stronger than they look right now, and I think they can easily take care of business against Ukraine. So sorry Ukraine, although you're my dark horse pick, who I may or may not have some money on, I think Belgium are going to win this game for show 3-2. They got this one in the bag. Let's now move on to the final group of the Euros and start off with the first match between Czech Republic and Turkey. And not gonna lie, this match is gonna be pretty hard to predict. The reason I'm saying that is because both the Czech Republic and Turkey are pretty weird teams. Starting off with the Czech Republic, they had some great moments so far in the Euros, like against Portugal when they went 1-0 up before capitulating defensively and losing 2-1, and then against Georgia, who they dominated in the first half completely, but went down 1-0 to a penalty. Then they got a lucky rebound and scored off that, but their goal scorer, Patrick Schick, got injured and had to be subbed out. And then if Georgia were more clinical, they could have secured all 3 points in the 95th minute, but instead the ball was launched into space. So although Czechia are a pretty good side overall, they haven't shown that they have what it takes to capitalize on chances. While Turkey, on the other hand, was a team that I believe could have been genuine dark horses at this tournament, especially after their 3-1 victory against Georgia, where Arda Güler, by the way, scored that absolute rocket. But against Portugal, man, they just reminded me of the Turkey from the 2020 Euros, where they were genuinely the worst team at the tournament after being rated so highly. Literally against Portugal, they were getting dominated from minute 1, and a Cristiano Ronaldo that's almost 40 years old mixed the hell out of one of the Turkish defenders and dropped it. Then they allowed Bernardo Silva to score his first international goal at a tournament, and right after that, they somehow conceded the most ridiculous amateur own goal I've ever seen at the professional level. Like bro, all the Turkish defender had to do was look up, but instead, he got a little overconfident probably, and accidentally hit the ball into his own net. Just ridiculous, man. Am I watching an under 12 game or something? Oh, and then Cristiano Ronaldo out of nowhere decided to become unselfish and pass the ball to Bruno Fernandes to score and win against Turkey 3-0. In the 22 years that I've lived, I ain't never seen Cristiano Ronaldo be that unselfish in my life. But somehow, that own goal got Ronaldo in such a good mood that he decided to pass the ball right in front of the goal. That's crazy, man. But Turkey, I'm willing to give y'all one more chance, and I'm gonna believe in you guys on Matchday 3. And that's because my prediction for this game is Turkey winning 2-1. Don't let me down this time, Turkey. Moving on to the next game in this group, we got Georgia versus Portugal. And Georgia, man, I believed in y'all, bruh. I was one of the only YouTubers on this platform that had that much faith in you guys. But instead, I've kind of been left disappointed. Not really in Mamardashvili though, the goalkeeper, because he's been crazy good at this tournament, but more so on Kvaratskhelia and most of the team, because they haven't moved me at all whatsoever. I thought Georgia could kind of have like an Iceland Euro 2016 run, but with them having to basically win against a very stacked Portugal side on the last match day to make it through, yeah man, I just don't really see this happening. I know Portugal are probably going to rest some key players because they already secured top spot in this group, but I still don't think that Georgia has what it takes to even secure 1 point out of this game. So I'm going to say in this match, Portugal is winning 4-1. Yeah, I could definitely see Portugal running through this defense. Anyways, I appreciate y'all for watching this video, and let me know who you guys got winning their games on Matchday 3 in the Euros in the comments down below. I would love to know what you guys think. Now, if you enjoyed this one, please remember to subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And please be sure to follow my Twitter and my Instagram. The links are in my YouTube description. And last but not least, if you want to know what happened to the goal scorer of the Euro 2016 final for Portugal, Eder, you definitely want to check out this video right here. You won't regret it.